division of operating expenses by stages. In the previous lecture, we discussed dividing costs by types. Now we'll move on to dividing costs by stages. So just as a reminder, here what matters is not the type of a cost, but rather the place where it occurs. And there are plenty of ways to do that. One of the most popular one is to look at the production costs or the value of goods purchased when it comes to retail. And this is called cost of goods sold. And basically we have all other costs where we have a selling, general and administrative, and obviously other expenses. You can obviously go more granular, so you can show others as a separate category and the selling, general, administrative expenses as one category. Then you call it SJA, and quite often you would have even more detailed approach. So COGS again remain the way they are, but you would have selling, marketing costs as a separate position, R&D costs as a separate position, and general and administrative costs also as a separate position. As you can see, we simply try to divide the costs by stages where they occur. So here in the first one, we have a production or value of products if it's a retail versus others. Here in the last one, we have it fully by stages. So production will be one stage, selling and marketing second, R&D separate one, and obviously all the other related to the head office would be here. And obviously things which cannot be put in any of those categories would be here. Thanks to this division, we can say which activity is actually the most costly. Is it the production or the value of goods purchased? Or maybe it's sales. In some cases, like softwares, you would have very huge values here. It also helps to have cost divide like this and compare it with the competition, because then you can see, especially when you express it as a percentage of revenue, how much you, for example, devote to R&D and selling versus the competition, or how big is the cost of goods sold versus competition, obviously related to revenues. When it comes to states, the most popular is actually this way of presenting operating expenses costs. So they use it rather by stages. As I said, in Europe, we would use both of them. Bear in mind that in some cases, some companies, they define differently operating costs. So especially when we are talking about retail, they would say that all the operational costs are called costs and expenses. Then they have a cost of goods sold that in their case means the value of the product that they purchased. And then operating costs are all other costs that are not related to COGS. So you can have these divisions as well. As you can see, the naming may differ. What matters is always to check what they mean by specific terms, because the very same name can have a different meaning in different companies.